Well, I'm in better spirits now. I told you in an earlier video, actually you may not have seen it yet because it's slow loading. I'm tired. I was tired this morning. I went over the horses that raced last night, my take on what took place last night. As I'm on my way to Ontario, you know, it's not just me that lives a fluid life right now. Everybody in our family does. And Ava was posed with a simple proposition. She was trying out for something new, dance, and loved it, which obviously I support 100%. But it was going to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Super extensive, all for the rest of the summer into the fall long, which obviously Amy and I were on board with, because what's good for the goose is good for the gander, so to speak. I can't run all over the place for Ollie and not offer at least the same service for Ava. So, but Ava, the last couple of years, has gone to PEI before Old Home Week to visit with her grandparents. She likes to go down and hang out with the big Fred and Gail and all our cousins. And those two things were going to butt heads. If she wanted to try out for this dance thing and be a part of it, she couldn't go to PEI. So she's old enough now. I wasn't making the decision for her, neither was my wife. So we simply asked her. She took the whole day and thought about it very analytically and decided, as I did when I was not that much older than her, that it was going to be PEI and horse racing. Although that's not correct. I chose horse racing over baseball when I was a kid. Ava is choosing her grandparents over competitive dance, I guess is what it was. I didn't love it anyway. So I was proud of her. I didn't want to influence it at all. Obviously, my parents, Fred and Gail, are getting a little bit older now, so anytime they can spend any additional time with their grandchildren, they leap at the opportunity, and glad to see that Ava chose going to PEI. So that was a little tense today. Also, that was weighing on me. I wanted to offer my 2 cents, but had to bite my tongue. And then obviously qualifying and schooling in the mud was horrific today. Not my favorite thing to do at all. And the thought of driving all the way to Ontario, now Ava, so I guess I didn't give you the whole story. I was driving to Ontario to pick up Ava to bring her back to Ohio because her tryouts were Thursday and Saturday for this competitive dance. Well, she chose not to go to competitive dance, so theoretically I didn't have to go to Ontario tonight, but I did make a promise to my partners in Century Legion that I would be here, and to be quite frank, the state that I was in this morning, I was tired, and I did not look forward to driving 5 hours to race Century Legion. And then I had 2 options after that. I hate the drive to the Meadows. For whatever reason, it's happened a number of times where I had to get up in the morning and drive to the Meadows. It is an exhausting drive. I don't know why. It feels like I'm on a mountain bike. It just, I get halfway there, I get tired. One time I was going there in the morning, I had to stop and get Red Bull at about 9 o'clock in the morning. I looked like I was coming from a rave, I think. Or stay overnight and wake up early, or go right back tonight. Now, I would have chose go back tonight, but I don't get to see my kids and my wife very much right now with everything going on. So I chose to stay tonight. And that was the compelling reason to bring me here. 1, I said I would be here. And 2, I wanted to see my family. So I'm about 40 minutes from Mohawk right now. I left at just enough time. I'm not even going home first. I'm going directly to Mohawk. Sit down for a minute, get my suit on, go warm up Century Legion last trip, and then go race him, and then go directly home after that. Now, I was pleased as I left the Meadows. The sobering thought I had when I looked at my phone was that I was going to be in the mud for the 3rd time, 4th mud suit in 2 days. 4th, because I had 2 yesterday, remember I told you. I was not happy. And then I crossed the border, I'm like, wow. And it poured off and on the entire way home. And I mean The one time I almost slowed down and put my four-ways on. That's how bad it was raining. It was pouring rain. I crossed the border. It's hot, sunny. Driving through Niagara, bit my lip, crossed my fingers kind of, and turned on the weather network again. All sun, no rain tonight. Good, clean living. That's what that is. So immediately, I was not tired anymore. I felt great. So on my way to go to Mohawk, and I wanted to talk briefly, I guess. I wanted to update everybody. I got thinking, there was a couple of things that I forgot to talk about from the video, where horses were, horses we were turning out, horses that we were thinking of selling, horses that were in to go. Somebody mentioned me and said, why isn't Blue Ventura in the Stallion Series? It's a great question. The easy answer is he's not good enough right now. Why would I haul him 5 hours to get his face beat in? Why not just race him in a maiden next week? Somebody said, well, you could get an easier division, or you could get the toughest division and really get pounded into the ground. There's absolutely nothing wrong with just racing in the maiden. I had a great conversation with a number of clients today. We had a little snafu. Quebec wants every client that has any ownership in Cleveland Masha to get licensed. Now, there's no fingerprints, and it's only $21 membership fee, but they sprung this on us today, so now we're emailing everybody. If you haven't got your email, and you are one of my partners in Cleveland Masha, please reach out to me. You have to pay $21.60 before she races on Sunday. Didn't know that. Haven't raced in Quebec since I was 20. It's not that cumbersome at all. In fact, they're doing it the right way. That is what I'd said Ontario and everyone else should be doing. No fingerprints, everyone licensed. $20 is a fair amount so that you get recognized in the industry, and the industry can recognize you. That is how it's supposed to be. So as I sat there today saying, got to get this Quebec license now. I get 34 clients that have to get licensed. This is ridiculous. And I said to myself, hold on a second. That is exactly what you've been lobbying for a decade. Exactly what we were lobbying for a decade. And this is important because if you want to blame somebody because it's 1% in Ontario, you're looking at the guy that lobbied for it to become 1% in Ontario. I just wanted everybody to be accounted for because I remember when Ontario nearly lost everything. The argument from the Liberals at the time that had ripped the carpet out from underneath us was that there was no hard data to prove how many people really were involved in horse racing. Yeah, we see the owners, we see some caretakers and trainers, but we don't really know how many people are involved. And sure, people buy hay and straw and feed, but that could be utilized elsewhere, or those crops can be changed out for that. Listen, I've heard it all. I've argued it all. I debated it all. And at the end of the day, if we actually knew, and it's not that it was our fault at the time, but it's our fault right now that it hasn't been done a decade later. Everybody should be accounted for. Everyone. So as angry as I was at Quebec this afternoon, I should have been angry at myself because they're actually doing it right. Anyway, I wanted to give you some updates. I'm just going to run down the list really quick of horses. If something jumps off the page at me, obviously I was disappointed with the two qualifiers today for two very different reasons. The fillies' mechanics were not proper. Why? We're going to get to the bottom of that. Plus she bled. That is where the 33 seconds came from. Whereas you look at the other side of that coin, the Priest didn't really have anything wrong with him, and he came 33 seconds. And that's likely why he's likely going to be leaving us. Same as LT Troubadour. We are almost to August. And sure, if we have horses that have issues, we're going to deal with them head on. We have horses right now, if their knees were sore and they needed turned out June, or they're going to get sore now, or leggy with had a chip removed. These are things that happen. But the ones that don't have any excuses or just go out and perform poorly, and even further on that, The ones that I know are better horses than that and choose not to be, I just don't have time for those horses. I was having a great conversation with somebody today. I said, each year I pick 1 or 2 or 3 horses that I try to keep just a little bit more of. And you want to know, people say, well, which one do you like? Here, I'll give you a little tip. I picked 2 trotters in Ohio that I kept a little bit more of this year. 2. You know who they were? LT Troubadour and Wander Hill. Those were the 2 that Anthony picked. There's no inside information. That's pretty evident by what I just told you. LT Troubadour and Wander Hill. Those are 2 heartbreakers right there. I can't even be mad at Wander Hill because he just wasn't good enough. LT Troubadour infuriates me for the same reason that the Priest did today. Just a total disregard for work. And they might make nice racehorses. LT Troubadour's got a nice gait, decent family, big strong body, big softy. Doesn't really want to put forth a great effort. So he can go and half-ass it somewhere else. Anyway, let's talk about the stable. Allie's Got Grit's going to race on Wednesday. I'll give What a Lady, What a Night a pass because what I saw last week was impressive and what I saw this morning was not. So I'll give her a brief pass. Allie's Got Grit, though, qualified great, trained great the week before, is great coming in. I don't know how tight Jason and Jason have him for Wednesday. I suspect pretty tight knowing them. But very impressed with the way this horse qualified at the Meadows. Arrowhead Hanover is in to go. 4-hole, I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to race for $80,000. That's great. There's an undefeated horse in there also. Jim Campbell. Fantastic horseman. Dave Pallone, leading driver forever. Do you know that Dave Pallone has been the leading driver, I think, for like 3 decades at the Meadows? And that's not a joke. That's like literal. 20,000 wins or something. Jesus. Anyway, they got a horse in with us, but I have a lot of faith in Arrowhead Hanover. His victory the other day was A, impressive, and B, easy. You don't get to win too many stake races like that. He went with wrapped up with the earplugs in, 28 apiece on the end of it. He is coming into Friday's contest 1 sharp, 2 tight, and 3 looking to do some damage. It feels good right now. Trot was great, and Kentucky Aunt Lily's going to get to have her get back to Scioto on Saturday night. We drew in with Thursday. We drew in with that good Mocha filly. Okay. See how they race on Thursday. Where are we at now? Lily, Bluebird Tuxedo Hill. I like the horse. We're going to give him another chance. He's proven at least 5 or 6 times that he wasn't healthy this year throughout the year. I can't really put my finger on what is wrong with him, but we have enough respect for him and looking at his breeding. I can never say that his attitude was ever in question. I'll always go to bat for a horse that appears or is trying. And I won't go to bat for the ones that aren't, as you may know by now. Blue Ventura? No, we're not taking Blue Ventura to the Stallion Series all the way in the Poconos by himself because he's not good enough. Very nice horse and a good horse. But when they're going at 51 and 52 in the Stallion Series, we'll just skip that one. Thanks. Cadeau's knees are still bothering him a little bit. After his last couple of starts, start off a little bit off up front, jog out of it. The problem I have with that is I use the saying where there's smoke, there's fire. These are telltale signs that something's going on. Dr. Latessa was looking at him this week. He said he flexes okay, but I'm worried there is something bubbling around in there. I got a lot of respect for Cadeau, too. I like the horse. I think he's going to be a good racehorse for us, and I don't want to jeopardize him. So for sure he's getting the week off while we reassess and reevaluate where we're going with him and how he's there. If he's not sound, he's not racing. So I want to figure out what is going on with him. How do we mitigate that if we can? What's that timeline look like? What's best for Cadeau? I like the horse. I like everything about him. Try all day long, too. Captain Incredible will qualify this Friday, and then he will likely head to Kentucky. I talked to James briefly the other day. He's going to be in Kentucky when the Colts are racing also, so he likes Captain Incredible. And although Harry's not going to be taking him to Kentucky, I think James can stay on the horse if he wants to. He can drive Captain Incredible, so he'll likely be listed first on him, both at the qualifiers this week and in Kentucky when he gets there. And before everybody starts saying, is he going to start in the top division? We're going to start in the basement. And the reason being, it's very simple. I know he's paid into the Matron, the Breeders' Crown, the International Stallion, the Bluegrass, all those stake races that come up in September and October. Those are the ones he's paid into also. We don't have to go looking for a fight in Kentucky right away. We'll let them come to us. Hopefully. Century Legion's racing tonight. Good luck to everybody. Chicago Hall is training tomorrow in preparation of his Monday race. I told James bluntly the other day, I'm biased because I don't know the entire division. I haven't watched all the races. But I know a good horse when I see one, and I told him he's one of the best horses in Ontario. I thought he was. Now James said, well, this guy's got a good one, that guy's got a good one. I said, here, let's leave it at this. We got a good one too. I said, that's fair. He is a very good horse. Cleveland Masha's heading to Quebec. You heard me just talking about the licensing woes of Quebec, and they're not woes. The more I regurgitate, the more I talk about this, the more I let it soak in, they're doing the right thing. So good for them. Country Dancing, I think, is going to get better and better and better, and she's slated for a couple of starts in Kentucky too. And if we get her going directly in the right direction, she could be a scary-looking filly when she gets to Kentucky. Dancing by Myself will stay out for another bit. But again, I can't say enough how impressed I was by Fire and Shine the other day. The way she raced, the way she had that massive big kick the last 3/8 of the mile and carried it 4 wide through the last turn. That was impressive, and I can't wait to see what she's going to do the rest of the season. Why you haven't seen her do more of that? She's very green, and now she's very understanding of what her job is. She didn't understand what her job was before, and quite frankly, I told everybody I didn't think she was doing her best work on the front also. Half-mile track, she's not a big filly. If we could get her to a bigger track. What do we got going on here? Oh, we got a fender bender. Oh yeah, that guy hit something big. Oh, that sucks. If we could get her consistently racing on a 5/8 for a little bit. I should have actually asked him if there was somewhere to race her this week. Somebody said, well, why don't we just race her in the Sire Stake? They go for more money. It's a great question, and I think a lot of people can answer that easily, and I'll answer it easily also. We're not racing our horses in when they're not supposed to be, right? It's one thing if you say, I'm going to try him in the Breeders' Crown elimination because he's been doing great things regionally or been a nice horse, and I think we're going to try. That's okay. But when you know that you have a decent Buckeye filly and you put her in the Sire Stakes, well, you get what you have coming to you. And with her, let's just let her advance and grow up and the question is a fair question. I'm not making fun of the person who asked the question. It's a fair question. But the answer is every bit as easy as the question. It's simply because she doesn't belong there yet. Yeah, as you can see. The speed that she showed the other day was impressive. I want to see that again and again. Foxy Seaside, this is a touchy subject. A lot of people weighing in on this, saying, Anthony, I would rather you keep a closer eye on her. I think that, she trained down at Northfield. She should be at Northfield. I get everybody has their own opinion. I understand it, but could we all agree on one thing? There's probably a good chance that no one knows her as well as I do. No one. And what I see is a very timid, very immature green filly with a lot of speed, and we want to harness that properly. And we want to foster that properly. And trying to do it on a half-mile track is not the place to do it for her. She is not comfortable at Northfield. Not as comfortable as I'd like to see her. That happens. She already won a race on a 5/8. The problem is, I would send her back to the Meadows. The problem is she's an Ohio bred, and she would be passed over in the numbers of 1 or 2. If they could fill the field with Pennsylvania owner-bred horses, they would. And that's the only reason she's in Ohio right now, in Scioto. I think Brett and Stacy will do a great job with her, and they'll get along great with her. Freedom Hill, I was torn on this, and I didn't properly explain myself. Jason and I went back and forth, a number of our clients back and forth. The Ohio State Fair race or Urbana. One, this is what we should do. Why can't we do this? Can we do this? You know what? We're going to do both. That's what we're going to do. We're going to race her in the State Fair, and we're going to race her 5 days later in Urbana. And the reason being, and Jason McGinnis was the one that figured it out, she doesn't have to race for 3 weeks after that. We can rest her for a couple of weeks. Why don't we just do both? It's 5 days. It's not 3. It's not 4. It's not 6 or 7. It's 5. And his voice was the voice of reason. Rather than butting heads with everybody back and forth, why don't we just accommodate everybody? I don't think it's going to kill Freedom Hill. She's not a big, giant filly that's going to need a full week or more to recuperate. She's a medium, small filly. She's going to zip around Scioto, no problem. As long as I don't drive her like an idiot. I'll do my best. And then she'll do the same thing in Urbana on Tuesday. Gaslight Hall ready to go now, and I know I gotta. Dominic gets so excited about the horses sometimes. I gotta almost take his enthusiasm in and then filter it. I'm an enthusiastic person. He makes me almost look pessimistic. I'm hearing great things out of Ontario about Princess Dream and Gaslight Hall. Captain Incredible. Those horses that are all getting ready. All right, show me quietly. You're going to see Princess Dream and Gaslight Hall likely qualify on Friday. Gorgeous Package was awesome. I love this filly again. She was such a sweetheart. Grand Old Chap. Every so often I'll get an email. Anthony, just not enough updates on Grand Old Chap. What is going on with this horse? So let me be as clear as I can in case anybody hasn't really been paying attention. He is jogging, training twice a week, very slow. There is no updates, nor will there be any huge earth-shaking updates for weeks or a month or more about Grand Old Chap. I do not know if he will start in 2024. Somebody said, well, he should be ready by now. Oh, really? I don't understand how you figure. He's closer to being in the field than he is being ready to go behind the starting gate. It takes time. Every horse is a little bit different, and I'm not going to push any of the horses further than they need nor want to be pushed. And Grand Old Chap right now is doing his work. He's going out, he's training on Wednesdays and Saturdays slow, and he's jogging every other day. He's got a good attitude. I like what I see, and hopefully I continue to like what I see from Grand Old Chap. And that is the only information I can give you, because that is the only information available right now. Grand Slam Dio and Green Glitter's right after her. They both raced very similarly the other day. I felt bad for Green Glitter. I know now, a perfect analogy. My wife's car probably gets 6 hours on a full tank of gas. I can fill up in Guelph and have a quarter of a tank when I get to Northfield. My girl right here, I can fill her up to Guelph and almost get to Northfield. This is Green Glitter. Smaller gas tank, but I know that, and I did my best to not put her in a bad spot yesterday. One, I was focused on her gait, because anybody that sits behind her for the first time is going to go, there's no way this filly is going to trot. She's very pacey in the warm-up, but after you let her rattle up into top speed, she's actually a sweetheart to drive. Actually a really, really sweet filly to drive. So I have to temper my expectations, I guess. Put her in a smart place. Try not to exceed the speed limit when I can, or the gas is going to burn quicker. And understand that I can't get to Northfield from Guelph. Well, I can. If I drive the speed limit, on a nice day, maybe the wind's at my back, I can get all the way to Northfield on the car. But only if everything is going perfectly, and that is how Green Glitter is. Grand Slam Dio is getting much better. This filly, the improvement I've seen, now I didn't see her in Oak Grove, remember, I didn't go with her in Oak Grove, but the improvement I've seen recently, I actually am still toying with the idea of putting her in to qualify without hobbles on. That's how much she's improved in the last few weeks. Thoroughly impressed with her. Gymboree, I don't even want to talk about it. It makes me sick. I went back and watched the video just to confirm how stupid I was yesterday. And I told everybody the track was so bad, the rail was so deep, it was just taxing everyone. Throughout the day, everybody figured that out, except for me, until I drove Gymboree. So again, my apologies to my partners. We are taking the blood on her, but I would be shocked if anything jumped up as abnormal. The only thing abnormal about yesterday was the drive I gave her. High Hopes is in Thursday. We looked everywhere for the right class, and then it jumped off the page right there at the Meadows. I don't even care that she drew 7. I said we literally almost entered her in the Ohio State, the big race at the fair race at Scioto. We almost did, simply because I told Jason I would rather race her on a 5/8. I would rather pay to race her on a 5/8 than have to race her on a half right now. I've seen baby steps from her over the last 2-3 weeks, and I want to see them progressing. I don't want to see her regress, and I'm terrified that would happen if I raced her at Northfield. We literally almost entered her in that race. Instead, luckily, she got in at the Meadows in a maiden. She's like 4-1, and hopefully she's good. I don't play nice. I wasn't playing nice after the other night. You know, we talk about LT Troubadour and the Priest and how much they annoyed me. This horse annoyed me, but has way more talent than the other horses. We changed his shoes and put the hobbles on him. You want to screw around at the gate? Fine, I'll help you out. We just slapped the hobbles on him for the Meadows on Wednesday. Jason went with him Monday and said, much better. Perfect. Changed all his shoes around, threw the trot and hobbles on him. Now Jason says he feels great. Perfect. Very happy to hear that. He should be good on Wednesday. I'm a trucker, much like way ahead of Grand Ole Chap, but in a similar path. Training down, been in 240, 245. I told him, I said, just train them. Both those horses are on 240, 245. Keep going with them. And when they start to feel real comfortable, then we'll start to get a little more serious. That's exactly where we're at. We're in that holding pattern right now with both of them. I'm Ready To is out in the field. His knees were bothering him. I will say this. Cadeau's knees bothered him a little bit. So did I Don't Play Nice's. I'm Ready To's knees. Both by Marseille. Now, it's obviously way too small a sample size to start casting aspersions of knee issues, but interesting nonetheless. And I'm not worried about it. I think both these horses will make good 3-year-olds anyway. Cadeau's already proven that he can trot. He does have speed. And if we call into question his physical durability, that's fine. He'll mature. He'll grow up. There's nothing wrong with that. Leggy is now out in the field. Should be out for about a month. LT Troubadour might be out in the field, but it'll be somebody else's field very, very soon. That guy, we turned over all the stones. We scoped him. We drew his blood. Nothing drew out of the ordinary except for his race the other night. That can't happen in the barn. And LT Troubadour has been voted off the island. Manhattan Money hasn't. He raced good again the other day. Continues to get better every time we race this guy. Very happy with him. He drew inside 2 or 3 on Friday, so it should be hopefully another good race from him. Melisandre was good today. Very happy with her. Memento Mori. I told Scott, I told him 2 things. 1, he will be vastly better and different when he gets to Kentucky. And 2, and most importantly for all my partners on Memento Mori, give me 3 more starts in Lexington right before the final. You are going to see this horse come to life. Mark my words. Mountaineer Prince. I am... So I have some hurdles standing between me and myself driving him. Now, I'm told that the race in, I think it's Ludington, Michigan, is on Monday. Firstly, I thought Ollie played baseball. He does not. Secondly, we have Pickpocket and those horses Indigo at Kentucky. Now, I don't have to be there to drive Memory and Imagination and Pickpocket and obviously Arson and Westland Warrior and Memento Mori. Those are Scott's drives. And I think the vast majority of them he'll drive, if not all of them. If all that happens, I will seriously consider going to Ludington in Michigan on Monday. They say it's a beautiful town too. Now, sadly, there is no possible way I can talk my wife into going to Ludington, although they say it's a beautiful tourist-type town and a beautiful spot. The shine of Mountaineer Prince racing in Ludington is not nearly bright enough to draw Amy McDonald into a trip to Ludington. I don't think. So it'll likely be a solo adventure. No guarantees. Everything has to go right. If my calendar can be cleared for Monday, I will be there. Because this has got to end, this ridiculousness with this horse. And somebody said it's the gate, it's a crowd of horses. No, it's not. He ran in the warm-up the other day. He never put one step in when I went with him at Northfield. Not a step. So unless he's smart enough to know what a warm-up is, what race day is, and differentiate between everything going on, which he's not, then it's just him being him. That will stop. That will cease on Monday if I make a trip to Michigan. I hope. My Wicked Heart, honestly, I don't know how this filly is still here. I like her. I like her tenacity, and I've stuck up for her. I've stuck up for her before. There isn't a person, not James, not anybody that's ever driven her, not one time in their life, that can say a bad thing about her other than maybe she's not fast enough. She tries. You can feel she tries. She wants to do her work. She's pretty well bred. She's not good enough. And likely at some point in the next 2 or 3, I would love to find a spot. Just put her in to go and race her. Talked about Hanover, couldn't get her in there. Dominic even said, let me take her to Quebec. I can't ship my Wicked Heart to another province to race her. She's not good enough to race in the province she lives in. I'm not going to go to another one. Anyway, we'll see how she is over the next few weeks. Never Lose Felix will be quietly one of the horses I watch very, very closely training down. Always exhibited speed. His attitude was somewhat in question, but he always had lameness issues. And I'll always forgive that. Can't expect a horse to put forth an honest, top-shelf, 105% effort if they're hurting. I can't, you can't, and they certainly can't. You can ask a horse with an issue on race night to overcome it, bite down on, as I say, bite down on that mouth guard a little bit, and put in a 105. You can't ask them to do that all the time, though. Once in a while, yeah. Not all the time. And Never Lose Felix, a matured, physically and mentally matured Never Lose Felix, that might be a good horse. Oh, He'll Know has been great. I'm just so pleased with the way this filly has progressed over the last little while. Just thoroughly pleased. Her attitude, her understanding of her job, her work ethic is top shelf, and very pleased with her. Pelican Al's back in going now. Somebody said, is he going to be ready in the next month? No. He's not going to be ready in the next month. We're going to take our time and train him down, see if we can make Pelican Al Charlie May's brother, not just Pelican Al. That's the plan. Princess Dream will be going Friday. So excited to see this filly start racing. Resolve Indeed also will be in on Friday, I believe. And super excited to see her go too. Very excited. Is she going to be in Qualify School Friday? Yeah, I think she will be. Rose Run AJ, Rose Run Alexandra, both racing great. Rose Run Alexandra, I think if she continues to progress the way she is by the end of the year, she's going to find the sire stakes. Rose Run AJ is on the bubble. He's on the cusp, so to speak. I think he's going to be a nice horse throughout the entirety of the rest of the year. Rosetta was awesome yesterday. Awesome. Yeah, that horse come back on and beat me. I know. I saw it. I was there. But I wasn't going to put her on the run for the sake of her first start in Lexington in a $15,000 race. I think she's got bigger fish to fry. 27-4 on a track listed off 2 seconds is a pretty good mile. And she was very, very good yesterday. I like this filly a lot. She sits at the bar. There's no real update there either. She's still at, 40%? She's still sore to walk around. A lot of rehab involved. But her spirits are good. She's keeping her weight on. And when she starts to sound up a little more, we're just going to turn her out in the field. I want to make sure that she doesn't just go out and try and run around and hurt herself or just sulk in the field the whole time. We want to have her ready, if this makes sense to you, ready to go to the field. Southwind Idex and the Speed of Sound are both Speed of Sound and Southwind Idex are both giants, both getting ready to go, and are both getting ready to come back from the field and start going. You know, I can't say enough how much it changes my outlook seeing what Time Is on My Side has done. I've said this a number of times. Somebody said to me the other day, Anthony, you can't change the way you train horses because you were able to train one horse that way. But that's the only horse we tried to train that way. I know it's a pretty small sample. One is not really a sampling of anything. But we haven't tried to train any other horses that way. If we had the opportunity to get our sophomores that we thought were okay ready early and race them in the numbers 1, 2, and 3 when it's really soft at Northfield and the Meadows, and then decide during that time frame if we wanted to keep them or what they were going to be, if they were just going to be Stallion Series or Buckeye horses, continue on. Worse, if they're not quite even stakes company, continue to max out that nominal 1, 2, 3, 4 division and then sell them. Or the odd time run into a horse like Time is on My Side. Wouldn't that be great? The door that horse just opened for us is immense. I can't stress it enough. The Priest, gone. If his blood comes back okay tomorrow, that's it for him. What I saw today was unacceptable. And unless it can be decided, unless it can be explained to me through blood work, which I'm going to be honest with everybody as I sit in this car right now and talk, I don't think it will, then he is on his way out. Trevino on green is going out to the field. This horse had a great work ethic, had a great attitude, and has, right now, not past tense, just his training is past tense. It's going to the field. Just too big. It's going to grow up. I'll stick up for him because he tried to be a nice horse. He's been in 2.5 2 or 3 times. I just didn't see a path to 2 minutes. And even 2 minutes is not quite enough, is it? And it's not that he's slow. He's just immature and interfering. We can fix that. I think I got to go this way. Pretty sure I do. I'm used to going home to Guelph. You get off of the QEW and go that way and up on Clapson's Corner, straight down Highway 6. Well, to go to Mohawk, you got to go 407, and I think it's the first right and then just go north. I'm actually positive. Westland Warrior, much better the other day. I told Scott he's fixed. Made a few little adjustments, shoeing and equipment-wise. When I trained him, I thought he was good. All that remained was, is he good enough? Scott said he was flying at the wire, and actually it was Eric that pointed out, and then Scott reiterated. He said, watch the end of the video after the race. The horse is flying after the mile and gone by everybody and drew away. That's what I want to see. Good job by Eric. Good job by Scotty. What a lady, what a night. Disappointed today, but she had a lot going on. Mechanically, she was not good. Was it the track? Was it her shoeing? Does she have some vet work that needs done? And then she bled a little bit. And quite frankly, a little bit more than the mucus in her throat would allude to the fact 1 + 1 did not equal 2. There was not enough mucus there to make an excuse for the blood that we found. Now what? What does that mean? I don't know yet. I haven't made my mind up. It could mean that she starts her career on the Lasix program, which is super taboo. Not well looked at. Quite frowned upon. Which that may or may not. My care level to what other people think is very little. I'm going to do what's best for us and our horses. She's there now. I know how fast she could be. I saw a glimpse of it last week. What's stopping her from becoming that horse? If it's just that she's struggling and she's bleeding a little bit, okay, we have a very legal remedy for that. That's where I'm at. So my struggle is thinking about her struggle, and we'll get to the bottom of at least a part of that tonight. I think I'm going to need some help from the veterinarian. He's going to have to go over her. Dr. Latessa will go over her. She's gone back to Northfield now with Jason today. 4 of them went back from the Meadows. Dr. Latessa is going to have to go over her, and hopefully he can find something. If he can, perfect. If he can't, then we got some thinking to do. Woodmere Betcha is healing up. Has not been training since she left Ontario. A couple of people asked Anthony, is she going to race this week? No, she's not going to race. There's some people out there that they don't have time for the videos, and I get it, but I've already spent 39 minutes talking about horses now, and I told you the guys this before, I used to email about the horses, but we have so many horses, but halfway through the list, your email is, horses training good, talk soon, Anthony. That's not fair to you. I would much rather do it this way. Might ramble sometimes, but that's that. Admiral Deal, ready, he's on track. Arson training this week. He's on track. A lot of people asking, Anthony, is Arson going to Little Brown Jug? Well, that'll be up to Arson. He's going to race in the middle division that goes for $30,000. I believe the final goes for $100. If I'm not mistaken, it might go for a little more. It might go for $200. I think it's $100 though. No, it might be $200. Regardless of what it goes for, it's not $1 million. Do I think he can win the Little Brown Jug? I don't know. But I think he's raced good enough. Quite frankly, I was super torn on whether we should take him to the Adios, and he wouldn't have looked at a place at the Adios, I don't think. But a cut on his ankle and 2 staples in it kept him from going there. The argument, it was a moot point at that point. The Jug, yeah, he'll probably end up going there if he continues on. He doesn't have to win the next 5, but he did win his last 5, and he's been racing very good, very fast horse, built for a half-mile track, so he likely will show up in Delaware. But that's a conversation for another day, not today. Where are we at here? Arison Casanova Hall. I believe we're going to race him Saturday. That will be a prep race for next Friday. Tim said, Anthony, we could train him, or we could race him Saturday. I said, well, get him shot. Train him up a little bit, maybe tomorrow. I can't imagine he's had a ton of work done with him in the last week. He's going to be short. It's going to be a learning experience for us on Saturday also. But I think if we're going to get paid to train and put him in a class he could and should, might do well in, then by all means, go ahead. Where are we at here? We are just past Casanova Hall. Dominion, listen, we got some horses that are going to be moving out very, very soon. Is Dominion one of them? Quite possibly, yes. I don't know if he is or he isn't, but he needs to do better. 1st and 3rd, and then he get roughed up his last start. Let's start with not roughing him up. Let's start with giving the horse a chance to do well, and then if he does, great, and if he doesn't, well, then we'll have a different conversation. Don't talk about Bruno. He got the job done the other day, 4-1 this week for Brett McDonald. Great job by Brett with this horse, and Dominic, and everybody associated with Don't Talk About Bruno. Who takes care of Bruno? Is it Emily? Tyson? Cindy? I think it's Emily. I think it is. If it is Emily, good job, Emily. Flashfly trained today. She looks great. Can't wait to get her and insider trading back going. A lot of people very anxious. Are they ready? Are they ready? Are they ready? Just hold on. They're going to race in the overnights. I want to have them good all the rest of the final parts of the summer, into the fall, into the winter. These are very, very well-bred fillies. So we're looking to put very good lines on them. Consistently good lines on them over the next little while. George of the Jungle is in to go at Mohawk. He's still fit the maiden at Mohawk. I see he's 9-2 on, what day is today? It must be Friday that he's in. Good luck to all my partners with Georgie. Great bet, raced good the other night again. A bounce back for him. Geez, a lot of questions after the last race. He was moving up in class because he's just not good enough. Just felt like he was faltering a little bit. The week off helped. Hunter drove him great. The horse finished 2nd in 54 and a piece. A good mile from him again. Gypsy Hill raced great last week. I'm eager to race him and Irresistible Sun on Saturday. I know Sonny's going to be a little short. He's schooled today. He'll be better. And he won't be better. He was awesome coming in. Unfortunately, this is timing, right? We talk about it all the time. We couldn't get him in, got him in to go, and he was sick. Had to scratch him. So his training mile, his schooling mile was good today at the Meadows. We'll see how he does next week. I jump over a bunch of... No, Gypsy Hill, I talked about him. He was good. Hallie in the Clouds apparently trained awesome at Northfield Park this week. She's in to go. Dave Pallone's going to drive her on Thursday. I can tell you Jason was very optimistic about her chances on Thursday. He thought she trained well. I'm fancy like off 3 weeks, probably didn't need to be coming first over. I think that maybe that was an error on Hunter's part, but that happens. But I can tell you one thing, she's as tough as a squash ball. She's going to come back just as good as she ever was, probably her next start. Insider trading, getting ready soon. A lot of people saying, is she ready? Is she ready? Just, guys, I know you want to see her race. You don't want to see her race. You want to see her race well. Let us get her ready. She's getting there. She's almost there. Irresistible Sun, as I said, school good today. He's in Saturday. Lonely Lakewood is in Friday. Hunter's going to drive him, coming off a good mile at Northfield Park. What are we at here? 44 minutes. Oh, my God. Lover's Play will likely race next week. She sounded up as quickly as she got sore. She gets sound again. She is tough. Very tough filly. Love and Affection will race next week, I think, at Northfield Park, if I'm not mistaken. Mel Gibbswan, I have heard from Stacy, training good, been at 25 a couple of times. All things look good for Mel Gibbswan as he ascends back to his racing career. Memory and Imagination is looking good. Got the blood work back. AST, he tied up a little bit in the final, and his GGT was high also. Eric and Dr. Roberts are treating both of those things as he heads into his first start at Lexington. So that should be a good bounce back race for him. Militant is in Wednesday. He'll be back in to go. If he races good, which he should, he will be in to go Monday in Kentucky also. Mounds for All looks great in a stall, putting on weight, looking shiny and fat. He'll be fine after we get him back going. He actually had that very small and hard to diagnose fracture in his left hind P3. He took an MRI to find it. They found it, and he is recuperating now. Pickpocket, Eric said he looks better and sounder every day, which is not shocking to hear because he loves Lexington. He likes a softer surface, and I suspect he'll race good down there. Prince Charmer is racing awesome right now, exactly what we expected and wanted him to do. Purple People Eater is back in to go this week. Got roughed up a little bit. No first overs with Purple People Eater. That's a hard no on the first over. Ready for Landing is racing great, continues to race great. Somebody else will likely drive him Saturday if he gets in. I think I have to be in, I know I have to be in Scioto Saturday night. Really Don't Care is in Wednesday. We'll see what she's all made of. She's tight. I galloped her the other day in 155, which sounds really fast. It's not, but it's fast enough to really work her out. We'll see how she trots this week. Sunset Acres Girl continues to race good in Michigan. Sweeney is back in to go this week. Yes, there was a gap in his schedule. He was a little sore, but he's much better now. He was a little sick to begin with, and then his feet were hurting him. Stacy, I told her to just race him when he's good, race him when he can win. Very simple. Time is on my side. Man, what a ride this guy's giving us. He is awesome. Somebody said, is he going to the Milstein? If we get an invite, he will probably. We haven't got the invite yet. There's a lot of horses that they're trying to get to go, and you know, if there's 8 or 9 better horses, then those are the 8 or 9. They're going to roll in behind the gate in the Milstein. If they need us, we'll go. Otherwise, we're going to aim for the Max Hemp on the 17th. Victory Blue Chip is picked to win also. This guy's going to hang around until we sell him for a fair market value, and we haven't been offered that yet. Watch Your Mouth. I think Watch Your Mouth got beat up pretty good the other day. Hopefully he bounces back with I can't really see a better effort because it was not his fault, but a tough effort this week. Widespread Panic will be in to go this week. Also, he didn't get in last week. It was the only reason he wasn't in. Brace for Landing, tough spot the other day. Hopefully he can drop down. Probably give him a week off this week also. Collector has been racing good, continues to race good. Kenobi, we sold Kenobi. He was sold the other day. I have to let Wendy know that too. I haven't seen the money yet, but apparently he was sold and picked up. He's being picked up tomorrow from Mark and Melissa Beckwith. Save America raced fantastic the other day. He is now at Northfield prepping to come to Ontario and get shipped to Prince Edward Island for the Gold Cup and Saucer. Spitfire Overseas is back in and jogging now. Tactical Mounds drew the outside. As Megan said, it wouldn't be Hambo week if Tactical Mounds didn't draw poor. It's fair. She's right. Drew poor, but she's used to that. Texong Soprano will be coming in soon, I'm sure, to start jogging and training back towards the races. All Gas, No Brakes raced good the other night. I think he just maybe didn't get the chance to race that I would have hoped, but that's that. Greatest Ending's going to get a little break. We're going to try and get him ready for the fall-winter racing schedule in Southern Ohio. JK Victory just needs a better trip. I think this guy moving forward looks like money. Who's back in and jogging now for Harry. Rock Shining Star, yes, he was a little bumpy the other night. We're going to try and get the wrinkles out of him and get him back going as he heads to PEI. When he comes back from PEI, we'll make a decision. Where's he going to go? He might stay right at Mohawk. He might race at Mohawk. He might race at the Meadows. He might race a million different places. But for right now, he's headed to PEI. Serious Dragon is racing awesome. Very, very good. 1 win away from exiting that class, and then we'll have some decisions to make with him. Decisions to make with him. 3 Point Blue Chip. Good draw this week. A couple of tough horses in there also. We'll see how he races. Yo Mister had to be scratched. He was sick the other day. He'll bounce back and race next week, I am sure. Stay close through the 9-hole, but don't kid yourself. The 9-hole is not horrible in the Meadows. It's a staggered start, and the biggest problem he has is the 7 and 8 can both leave fast too. So we'll see. We may have to call an audible leaving the gate on Friday night, but he's going to be going forward as of right now. Kings County going to Minnesota. Heading to Minnesota, we're going to race him the final stages of the meet in Minnesota. He wasn't getting in at the Meadows. I was not racing him in the Open, so he's heading to Minnesota. Delicious Stone DK qualified today. What a tough little bugger. He's going to end up in a claimer his first start, dealing with some older issues. And Patrick raced good the other day, bouncing back well, racing well, and hope to keep it going next week.